All right. So it seems like now I'm finally live. Um, if you have any questions or anything like that, again, remember that I'm a little bit delayed. So just hang tight for a second. All right. Like I said, I'm getting my presentation up tonight. I'm excited for tonight's presentation because I really like music and poetry and whatnot. And so these things are just really inspiring to me. And I hope that they are inspiring to you as well. Let me get over here. I have like four desktops. And so now I'm going to share my screen. Again, if you're here, if you're watching, please just let me know that you're here and holler at me, say hi, and that is that. Um, all right, we're gonna present this. I like to give everybody a couple of minutes to just kind of trickle on in, uh, because I'm a late person. I run late. So I just like to give everybody a few minutes to, get their lives together. All right. I should have some music going on. Benito really did his thing. I really should be playing some Super Bowl music, but I didn't think about that. Okay. So we are about to start. I like to give a little bit of like 5 minutes or so. And I am just turning my phone off because, this is when I get all of the messages, all of the questions, everything. All right. So that's turned off. I'm going to share my screen. Guys, tonight is going to be, can I say it's going to be lit? Like, is that like, is that, can I say that? Can I say that still? I don't know. All right. So hopefully you guys still see me, like a little smidget of me. Tonight we are going to be talking about beats, beliefs, and belonging, centering justice through song during Black History Month. I really believe in this presentation because I feel like song is the low-hanging fruit that you can really get your students inspired to take an interest in. And so is poetry and a lot of the creative arts. Let's take a look at this. I want to welcome all of you. So this presentation is in collaboration with the World Language Teacher Summit. And last year we did the Diversity in Action, which was so much fun. And I am excited to be a part of the team to bring some nuggets of information and joy for Black History Month. Note, please stay until the end because there are going to be some freebies, some giveaways. There's also a website that is going to host this presentation and a workbook that goes along with this presentation. I did not, the workbook is right here. Well, these mice. I did not uh, give you guys a link to it. So let me see if I can just give you guys a quick link. So if you're interested in it, it is right here. All right, so it's in the chat. Up, Heidi here. Yes. Hi, Heidi. All right, so that is the link. That should be the link to the workbook for today's presentation. The workbook for today has tons of links. It has the presentation itself. It has spaces for you to write. It's kind of like a graphic organizer for adults. So I hope you guys enjoy it while you enjoy this presentation. All right, so today's work, what are we working on? We're doing the work today. And that work is to use music to teach language and justice with clarity, care, and classroom-ready routines. My goal, my hope is that you will walk away from this with a very succinct method on how to incorporate music into your classroom uh, when looking to expound upon themes of Black History Month. That was really long, but you get what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Let me know in the chat. You know what I'm saying, right? So anyhow, my name is Allison Perryman. I am a self-professed cultural curator, an educator, and entrepreneur. I started the Cultural Classroom, which is a business that I work with Spanish teachers primarily, and I endeavor to uplift marginalized communities that are not usually highlighted in the curriculum. So I'm very interested in Afro-Latinos, indigenous peoples, and other groups that typically don't get their shine in Spanish language curriculums. I've been a teacher for over a decade. I like saying that now because it's getting way too close to 15 years. And I studied Spanish, French, Latin. I went to Penn, I went to Middlebury. I'm currently teaching full time. I'm a mama and I love culture. So that's a little bit about me, so you know who I am. So let's do that work. And as always, please be careful with any videos, any music, any poems that I share. Please watch them and make sure that they fit your class culture. Not everything that fits my class culture will fit your class culture. So please don't be like, Allison from the cultural classroom said, nope, she didn't say anything. She said to watch the videos and music first and make sure that they fit your class culture. Okay. And don't forget that there will be an accompanying workbook. I dropped the link already in the chat. And here is a link again for teachersummits.com/resources. And you can actually download the PDF of the book if you'd like to print it out or anything like that. All right. How are we doing? How are we doing in the chat? I know I'm a little bit delayed, but how are we doing in the chat? Are we good? Are we tired? Are we eating dinner? What are we doing here? I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. Oh, this energy just doesn't spring out of nowhere. So go ahead and as I'm presenting, just, jump in and let me know what you're thinking. So, music can be a source of a testimony, right? It can be storytelling. It can be resistance. There are so many aspects to music that are great for Black History Month that can be useful for exploring themes of Black History Month. Black History Month, I feel like the lens that we're looking at it through, we're looking at the diaspora. We're looking at where did everybody go, right? It's a lot of people think, a lot of my students, because we're doing a project right now on this, a lot of my students think that the United States of America, present day, receives the most amount of enslaved people. This is not actually true. Present day United States, what would be present day United States, received about 4% of all enslaved people. About 12.5 million enslaved people crossed the Mid-Atlantic Passage. Not all made it. So where did everybody else go? They went to Latin America, they went to the Caribbean, they went to all these other places. So that is a diaspora. It is where everybody dispersed, where everybody went. We want to explore themes of identity during Black History Month, language, power. There's a good video that I'm going to show you guys about language. I think it's very intriguing, very interesting. And also visibility. Like I said, these themes and people in general, different people that are marginalized, are not often represented in the curriculum. And so this is why I think that it is important for us to do this specific work on, music and Black History Month because it kind of merges two areas that students can really connect to. All right, so this presentation, um, exploring music, exploring poetry, etc. What it is and isn't, it is representation. We're doing an analysis. We're trying to trigger empathy, critical listening, cultural competency. What I tell my students is you have to think all the time. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the chat. But I tell them like you have to think critically all the time. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you listening to what you're listening to? Why are you, I don't know. What do you think about this that you see? That's what you're trying to cultivate and develop here. It isn't political persuasion. No matter what people might tell you, it is not political persuasion. You are also not trauma dumping. So, what I like to say to my students, like when I give them the statistics on um, the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, etc., I share with them that I am not saying anything that is untrue. This is what happened. I also tell them that they're not responsible for what happened. That happened centuries ago. So I do try to position it so that the students can, it's a little more palatable so that they understand. Um, but not so much so that it's untrue. We're not trauma dumping. And we're not doing a famous person day, like, or one of those end of unit things, or something that just isolates Black History Month to perhaps 30 minutes out of the whole month. We wanna dig in, we wanna explore, right? So I present to you, no, I want to show you guys the song filter. It's a whole method on selecting songs that are powerful and teachable during Black History Month. And I'm also going to give you guys two examples, one that's a song and one that's a poem. Because like I feel like poetry is music, music is poetry. They seem to be so related to each other. All right, so our title, Beats, Beliefs, and Belonging, breaks down into beats. When you're looking at music or some creative resource, what is the mood? Is it hopeful, angry, reflective? What are the musical choices that stand out? Repetition, the rhythm, call and response, samples. Maybe there's something that connects with more of the diaspora. And will students connect to it quickly? These are questions that you can ask yourself while you are in that selection process. Some more questions are, what are the beliefs? I'm so sorry. What are the beliefs being conveyed in the song? So, what is the artist saying about the world? What injustice, tension, truth is named or implied? What values show up? Perhaps freedom, dignity, community pride, resistance. If a song doesn't say something, it it probably is not the right song for you, right? The song has to do something, make you feel something. And this is how we're going to select songs. There also could be elements of belonging. Whose voice is centered? Who gets to tell the story? What identities are present, whether it's race, language, nationality, class, gender, disability, etc. And does it affirm humanity and or challenge stereotypes? We love that when that happens, challenging stereotypes. So if it doesn't pass all three, beats, beliefs, belonging, then it probably is not the right source for you. It is not the right resource for you. Um, so let's just get a little checklist going for you. And again, you'll have access to all of this information. If you see me looking over here, it's because I can see the Facebook Live and the comments over here. And so I like to keep taking a peek over here just to like make sure everything's cool. All right. So you should make sure that it's level appropriate, whatever your resource is, right? That it has an authentic voice, that the context is available. You can find some information about the people that are being featured. Maybe Black History Month connection, right? That might be helpful. And looking at the diaspora, Black identity, Afrodescendiente history, civil rights, language justice. Make sure, oh, this is so important. Make sure this is a classroom safe version of whatever you are showing. We want to uh, make sure that what we're doing is credible. We're teachers. We're responsible for these kids, and it's not our job to force anything on them. And that includes things that have appropriate language. So please be careful with that one. Also, you want to keep your job. I mean, real talk. So clear task potential. You want to make sure your resource is something that you can make some activities off of. So here's some routines. Before you present a song or a creative piece, a poem, make sure you give some context and some key vocabulary. You want to lead with a guiding question so that the students feel really like centered on what the task is, what they're doing. During it, you want to encourage that they're listening and reading to, or sorry, listening to and reading whatever it is that you gave them. And after, we want them to follow this cycle of interpreting, connecting, and creating. So, what can you create? And we want to create some low prep options. Because I don't know about you, but I'm busy. You busy? I'm busy. So let me know in the chat. Are you busy? All right. So here are some examples of low prep options. We have a storyboard. So that to me reminds me of like a comic strip situation. A found poem. So choosing 12 words from the lyrics and arranging them into a new poem. Hashtag summary. I really like this one where the students come up with maybe 5 hashtags that are related to the poem. You can have a micro audio reflection where the students talk about their reaction to the song or the poem. A mini poster, a story summary that they can write. And of course, obviously, some of these may need scaffolding because of the level that your student's at. Maybe they're at novice high, maybe they're at advanced low. I don't know. So you know your students, so you can take these activities and you can scaffold them as needed. We also have the text message thread. I used to do that all the time when I first started teaching. It was so much fun. There was a website that actually had the text messages like set up. So then students would just write in their reactions, their summaries. And finally, an emoji translation, which is fun as well. I wanted to share with you guys that I actually have a lot of resources that follow this pattern of giving some context, giving maybe an activity, and then, um, all based on a song. And so this presentation is available. You can click on the different tiles, the different images, and then if you want, the link is right here. It's bit.ly slash mix musical CC or CC. Anyhow, these are some really cool mixes that I put together with songs that really stand out in the community. And if you are so inclined, today is the last day of the TPT sale. And so 25% off all resources, including my resources. If you're interested, run over there and check it out. All right. So here are some examples that I'd like to go through. This first one, you guys can let me know in the chat. Do you know this group? Do you know this group? Kombilesa Mi. Kombilesa Mi. And the song is called Ma Cuadro. So I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with them. I see someone posting. But if you're familiar with them, that's great. If not, that's fine. They are an Afro-Colombian hip hop group from Palenque. So now we've already opened the door to what is Palenque. And Palenque is essentially a community where former enslaved peoples were able to form their own, you know, community, for lack of a better word. And a new language emerged from all of these people that were together, but were from different places in Africa. They were all bringing Spanish, but they were bringing Spanish plus. So it formed Palenquero, which is a Spanish-based Creole language. And this group right here sings in Palenquero, which is pretty cool. I think that's cool. Also, it's kind of cool for students to try to see what sounds like Spanish, what doesn't, what is Spanish, what isn't. And Macuagro is described as a bright, proud, explicitly identity forward, celebrating Palenque's traditions while reaching outward to a wider African diaspora community. So I'm sure you guys can see some themes that would be useful for class. These are some themes that I pulled that I thought would be interesting. So cultural pride, affirming Palenque's identity, language preservation, especially as resistance, the collective belonging through cuadro. Cuadro is like um, a way that people are organized as a community. And then the African diaspora connection. Maybe before you can present students with Palenque, where, what, it's Palenque. Palenquero, the language, maybe some sample words. Cuadro, macuadro, what does that mean? And then diaspora and heritage, what does that mean? And how does it apply to Spanish class and the things that we're learning in Spanish class? Okay, so we can interpret um, by doing a story summary with a Spanish word bank of nouns, adjectives, verbs, and you can summarize or describe the video because maybe they might not understand everything in the video. Maybe the CC captions don't work, but you can at least have them describe the video. From my resource, Mix Musical, I do analyze this song. And in Spanish, tell the students about what macuagro means, that they're vecindarios, and just the different aspects that would help students place this information. Where it is, we're in Colombia, because a lot of our students, geography is just not our strength. But we're gonna work on that with them. And so I also show some images that might be quite moving to the students so they can get an idea of the pride that this community has. All right, so here is the video. Not sure if it's going to play. I'm going to see. We're going to try it. And if it doesn't, don't get mad. It's muted. I seem to have several sources of music playing, so try this song out. And this is a really fun uh, track. One thing that I find interesting with this is the hairstyles and the clothing and like how people present. And it makes me think about the diaspora. It makes me think about long-standing hairstyles such as braids and whatnot. And braids at one point during slavery they were they were very important because you could put a map, braid a map into someone's hair, and you could put seeds in the braids so that if they ran away, they would have food, they would have sustenance while they ran away. So I don't know, I just my brain just starts going on all of this, and I'm like, this is so interesting. Um, Okay, so here we have our second resource, and it's called hair. I don't know why I have an obsession with hair today, but hair. And this one's by Elizabeth Acevedo, one of my favorites. And it's actually an English language piece. Let me tell you something real quick. I truly believe that it is okay to bring in English in the classroom, especially when it's like this, when it's a poem that's talking about the experience, the lived experience of someone who is in the community. Not everybody in the community speaks Spanish. So, I mean, this is just a reality. I believe she does, but not everybody wants to write in Spanish. So, anyhow, the poem is about her, the societal pressure that she feels to fix her hair, fixing her hair in the sense that it's too curly, too unruly. We need to straighten it so that it approximates white or Eurocentric beauty standards. She talks about different aspects that connect her hair to history and that it's not something that needs correcting. And she wrote this all the way back in 2009 as part of her thesis work. I find that very impressive. So relevant themes include language identity, internal bias, family and community messaging, the Afro-diasporic pride, and reclaiming belonging through self-definition. I like to play this one for my students when we're talking about like body parts or things like that. And I'm like, one day I stumbled upon this and I said, "Hey, who likes their hair?" No one raised their hand, not a single person. And I was like, does anybody want to change anything about their hair? Everyone raised their hand, like, middle schoolers. And so it was very interesting because even though those students might not identify with Elizabeth Acevedo, they're going to be able to identify on a level that hair is difficult. And it's a representation of yourself. So before you begin going over this, you can talk about blanqueamiento with your students, which is this idea of with each generation or with each person coming closer and closer to whiteness. The transatlantic slave trade and the importance of hair in different communities. Um, I I spoke to a friend and they were like, "Yeah, I know hair is very important in Black and Brown communities," and that's not something that everybody knows or understands. And so part of this poem goes like this. Since I probably can't play the audio, since I'm playing evidently Bad Bunny in the background, my mother tells me to fix my hair. And by fix, she means straighten. She means whiten. But how do you fix this shipwrecked history of hair? The true meaning of stranded. When trusses held tight like African cousins in ship bellies, did they imagine that their great grandchildren would look like us and we hate them how we do? Trying to find ways to erase them out of our skin, iron them out of our hair, this wild tangle of hair that strangles air. I love this poem. I identify so much with this poem. So the video is included, and you can ask students to pay attention to the who, what, when, where, why, how of the video. I have several tasks here that the students can also work on. They can pick some lines. They can talk about what the message is. Your activity doesn't have to be in English. It could be in Spanish if you want. Ella dice, give them some sentence frames so that they can uh, have the scaffold to produce the language that is required. So lesson structures, we are trucking along. I put here what we talked about, that we want our essential question, we want our culture and context, we want the target language chunk, and then the before, during, after tasks. And maybe you want to do an assessment as well. This is something that you can replicate over and over and over again with whatever creative piece you'd like to use in the classroom. There's differentiation suggestions, such as with novice levels, we're just looking for the gist. We just want them to give us the gist of the content. You can use visuals to help, sentence frames, word banks, and so on and so forth. As many of you probably know, that each level has different needs. So if someone pushes back, you have a parent, you have concerned admin, and they're like, why are you doing this? You can say, here are some suggested things that you can, or maybe I have, or maybe other people have said, that this is a standards aligned interpretive communication and cultural learning task. Or we're analyzing authentic text and building global competence. Or students are using evidence from the text. It's not personal attacks. The whole thing is that you have to, if you want to do this, if you want to do activities like this, especially in the climate that we're in, it has to be based in some sort of standard. And one standard that you can look at is the social justice standards, because this is known throughout the country. You can also look at ACTFL. You can look at different resources that will support the use of intercultural learning, global competency, etc. I really like these standards because they really focus on like social justice and diversity and things like that. And then this is it. And it's pretty cool because it puts everything in supervisor friendly language. That's what it does. All right, cool. So I'm gonna click along. Um, so in summary, today you got your song filter, kind of like how to analyze your songs. You got a routine, what to do that you can replicate over and over again. And then now you have a planning template. Are there any questions? Let me know. I wish you guys could like pick up a mic and talk, but let me know if there's any questions that you guys have in the chat, or say that you have no questions. Let me see. Everything is delayed, so I might be getting it like a few seconds delayed. Um, let me go back. So I wanted to offer you guys a freebie. It's on Celia Cruz. It's a fun music activity. I do the whole video on YouTube in Spanish talking about Celia Cruz's life. And so when you go to this page and you download it, you're going to get the worksheet that goes with it, the video, and everything that's stylized and very cutesy. All right, next my YouTube page has a dedicated Afro-Latino list. This list has a bunch of videos that either I filmed or I gathered from the internet. It's a totally curated list. So go ahead, find me the Cultural Classroom. This is hyperlinked in this document, the Cultural Classroom on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe. Just a reminder, teachersummits.com/resources is where you're going to get all of your freebies and all of your workbook, the presentation, everything. That's where you're going to find all of that material. And as we finish up, I wanted to show you two of the materials that you're going to be getting today. One is like explicitly about music, the one on the right, and the other one on the left is one that I designed, and it's like an infographic on Afro-Latinos. Make sure you check out the mini course that I am running. It's a mini course celebrating Afro-Latino heritage. And so just go ahead, check it out, love it. And yeah, I this is my baby. So I hope you guys enjoy this. We are going to do a giveaway. So I wanted to give away like a seat to the course. Last time I thought about a number. This time I'm going to think about, I'll do a number again. So the number is between 0 and 50. Let's do that. 0 and 50. So in the chat, I think I'm gonna have to like wait a few minutes. In the chat, um, give me a number between 0 and 50. I'm gonna write my number down. Write my number down so you don't think that I'm like fibbing. All right, I wrote it down. Now, if you guys are not, if it's not like if the chat feature is not really working, then what I can do is go back afterwards and contact whoever had the closest number. We'll see. Be sure to connect with me on all of the platforms. I am everywhere, and I really live on Instagram. So you can actually talk to me there. Facebook, YouTube, as I said, WordPress, I have a blog, theculturalclassroom.blog, and TPT is where I sell all of my resources. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. And I had so much fun with you. And leave a message, an outgoing message, and I will talk to you later. Bye.